Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and this is the world news and today's news. I think everyone's maybe heard of this, but I'm going to give you all these juicy details of the indictment. The DOJ indicts Hunter Biden on 9 new federal tax charges. Again, facing 9 new charges and up to 17 years in prison. 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors for allegedly skipping out on nearly half a million or $1.5 million in federal taxes. And at the same time, living rich boy, playboy life, shelling out serious cash on drugs and hookers and entertainment and food. And oh, yeah, he lived it up. Serious cash on debauchery and details massive spending on a direct quote, basically. But his taxes, some call Hunter indictment round two. The president's now staring at impeachment himself, an impeachment inquiry to where all this money came from. And, re-election is right around the corner. Maybe caught in a little bit of fibbery, maybe a little bit of lies. Meaning, basically, he said, I did not have interactions with those people. It didn't work for Clinton, and it's more insulting here with what the president is facing. It's a trap of his own making. That, of course, a reference to his infamous denials, these allegations, false, which kinds of sound a lot like you know who that were once president. I did not do that. Yeah. And he said he's never spoken to his son's overseas business partners. I have never discussed with my son or my brother or anyone else having to do with their business. Period. It's a bunch of lies, he said. You didn't interact with associates, you know. Um, I did not. There's lies. There's lies out there, he said. Yeah. Yeah, the Clintons claimed that, and it never did work. No one believed them. The New York Post covered it said Biden, the wild child fox. News correspondent David Spunt um, basically said the government spells it out that Hunter Biden chose not to pay at least 1.4 or more in self-assessed federal taxes. Apparently had plenty of money to do this, and the indictment was filed, I'm sorry. And in the Central District of California that covers Los Angeles, where Hunter Biden has called home since 2018. It reads in part between 2016 and 18. And then on October 15th of 2020, the defendant spent his money on drugs, escort, girlfriends, luxury hotels, rental property, exotic cars, expensive clothing, and other items of personal nature. And it says it could have been drugs. And to insured everything but his taxes, and basically. So charges include failure to pay his taxes in 2016. 217, failure to file in 2017, failure to pay in 2018, also failure to pay in 2019. Then you get into felonies of tax evasion. That was in 2018. Filing a false return in 2018, which is a felony. Filing other false returns on another document in 2018. So it ended up being an expense of 1.6 million plus in ATM withdrawals, more than 683,000 for payments to various women. Okay, here's what he's spending his money on, folks. So he spent 683,000 payments to various women, according to the document. 397,000 for clothing, 39,000 on education, 237 on health and beauty products, pharmacy products, and then miscellaneous purchases. 236,000. It goes on. 214,000 on food, groceries, and restaurants. 188,000 on adult entertainment. 71,000 on drug and alcohol rehab. Well, that didn't work. Uh, home improvement, 24,000. Um, and entertainment and more entertainment was listed at 23,000. Plus sports and recreation, another 23,000. Oh boy. Hunter's attorney telling Fox News last night in a statement, um, if Hunter's last name was anything other than Biden, the chargers in Delaware and now California would not have brought anything against him. It goes on to say now, after 5 years of investigating with no new evidence, 2 years after Hunter paid his taxes in full, U.S. Attorney has piled on those 9 new charges when he had agreed just months ago to resolve the matter with a misdemeanor. No, that's what they offered to the judge, and he turned it down. Now, remember that plea deal that fell apart? These 9 charges are in addition to those federal gun charges that he's facing in Delaware. It appears both cases, he's ready to take his chances on a jury, and these trials could happen in 2024 when his dad is running for the White House. Yeah, crazy stuff. Crazy. And look at all that money he used on prostitutes. Now, he couldn't find a girlfriend, or did it? And then he had a wife. When did he pay for these prostitutes? When he was married or in between? That's what I'd like to know. And we're going to move on to China. The long last tide is turning against China's Belt and Road. Italy told China it's officially leaving. Italy has been a G7 country in the BRIC. They were hoping they would boost trade with China, but Italy's foreign minister said it's not produced the desired effect so far. And he also pointed out other EU countries like France and Germany, which has never been a part of BRIC, sell more to China than Italy does. Italy's prime minister campaigned on getting Italy out of BRIC, saying it was a big mistake, but basically a year to do it, which was cutting it close, because if Italy hadn't left BRIC by December, the agreement would have auto-renewed for another 5 years. Beijing ending the agreement, basically what the president said, it's to maintain a strategic friendship with China. I don't know about the friendship part, she said. And the response from China to Italy, once warned, if they backed out, there will be negative consequences. And if Italy recklessly decides to withdraw, there will be consequences. And that was an article from Bloomberg. Wow. So now, see, China isn't just threatening us or Taiwan or Australia. I don't think they've threatened Africa yet. But see, now they're even saying the EU, if EU decides to drop their businesses, that there will be consequences. Yeah. So, yeah, lots of threats. Maybe he'll cry like Kim Jong-un did over the women. Boy, that's crazy stuff. If you missed it, I think it was yesterday's show, that he was crying because there's not enough children in North Korea. But they got to be communists, So this one kind of disturbed me, because I see this maybe happening around our country. And it's a top secret migrant camp caught operating out of an empty aircraft hangar in Texas. So Biden's lax border policies have created a situation that grows more horrible by the day. In fact, it's even dangerous to our national security. The UK Daily Mail reported Thursday the city of San Antonio has operated a top secret migrant camp for more than 8 months, located in an empty hangar at the city's airport. The camp housed hundreds of migrants each day at the taxpayers' expense. That's federal money, that's our taxes, according to this report. Incredibly, elected officials had no idea the camp's existence until a few weeks ago. San Antonio City Council member Mark White told the Daily Mail, when I found out about this, I lost my mind. What the hell is going on at the airport? Any expansion of migrant holding facilities? I'm adamantly against it. Mary Ann Martinez, the bureau chief, broke the story with the article that featured more than a half a dozen photos that was taken. One photo showed a uniformed man in the foreground with the hangar and a shuttle bus in the background. Several others who looked like guards lingered in the hangar. A security guard at a secret site, not to photograph the location, tried to even force the Daily Mail to leave, even when they were on a public road. The security guard, according to Martinez, tried to block reporters' view and said he would not speak to a woman. A security guard, a secret migrant facility is in an American city, refused to speak to a woman? Really? Meanwhile, San Antonio officials, those who knew about the facility, confirmed that nearly 400 migrants occupy the hangar each night. Some migrants may spend less than 24 hours at the airport transit center, while many more spend more than 24 hours at this. The secret facility they're being kept, and it was not built to be a shelter. Public officials have not been allowed inside, so it's unclear what modifications have been made and or space suitable for people to sleep in. Public officials have not been allowed inside. Why not? We may venture an educated guess because nobody's allowed in there. It's like the kids on the border. Nobody's allowed to go in and look at these cages with these kids piled on top of each other. According to the Daily Mail, the city confirmed that the federal government reimburses costs associated with the top secret airport shelter. Not only is it San Antonio's taxpayers fund, but federal funding. And this migrant facility that houses women and children are likely substandard conditions, shielded from elected officials. They honestly don't want to talk about it, according to Republican Tony Gonzalez of Texas. A lot of the representatives for the state never even knew this existed. They will try to get away with whatever we let them get away with. So, and he even said, how many more are there around the country? So, yeah. So the top secret camp, huh? How many of them are out there? How many do we not know about? Remember, we had the drug addicts in San Francisco that disappeared. Where'd they go to? And then they're saying that hundreds of left and disappeared on buses with no labels on it, have left, and they don't even know where they went to. A lot of them from Martha's Vineyard. Remember when they left? They went somewhere that the federal government's not going to tell us about. So there are top secret migrant camps, and we're paying for it. We're paying for it. So they're trying to be sneaky. They're trying to be sneaky about hiding these migrants. So what? It doesn't look like there's that many. or what? What is the purpose of a top secret migrant camp? Hmm. Okay. Um, Now, over in Kiev, um, Ukraine has blown up a major railway that belongs to Russia and China. China's not very happy. Here goes China with the threats, right? I didn't find anything in response yet from China, but they blew up a railway where weapons and military equipment go back and forth, or come in from China to help Russia out. And uh, you know, um, China also sends um, grenades, military equipment, missiles, all kinds of stuff they send. And so Ukraine happened to blow it up. Now Putin says this isn't right, retaliation. That was something they shouldn't have touched. And not only that, but Kiev, it was used for Ukraine to get supplies back and forth, even to China itself and other countries. So they hurt themselves in a way, but they stopped the flow of military uh, equipment and armory that was sent to Russia. Ah, boy. And that one came out first thing this morning. Now, you remember the Soleimani airstrike over in Iran and that Trump did? Well, Iran has now sent the demand to President Biden, the Department of Defense, the Pentagon, anybody that would listen to him, that the Pentagon, the CIA and the Pentagon pay 50 billion for Soleimani airstrike. The court in Tehran ruled Wednesday that the former President Trump, the former state Mike Pompeo, the CIA, the Pentagon, the Department of Defense, and host of other American people that supported this must pay Iran nearly 50 billion to compensate for the airstrike that eliminated senior Iranian terror chief Qasem Soleimani. Yeah, pay it. um, yeah. So we have. I mean, he said American people because we supported it. We cheered, and don't they cheer when they mess up us? Yeah. I mean, they're cheering on what uh, Hezbollah is doing to Israel. Should we sue them? 50 billion for cheering? Yeah, they got American people. You know what? I've seen that, folks, because they watch our news, they watch our stuff here. But the Pentagon and the CIA and Trump and everybody for killing this man. Well, and you heard, they're uh, Iranian terror chief. He's a terrorist. That's not even the country itself being bombed. It was just an Iranian terror chief that we hit. So all right, I'm moving on. Um, Trump celebrates today, and I usually try not to do anything on him with this court stuff, but Trump is celebrating. He said it was a very good ruling from the New York appellate courts on Thursday, which allowed Trump to hold off on obeying an order to dissolve his Empire State business until the courts can consider their status. The appellate division, First Department rulings Thursday, affirmed the pause pending a view of a four-judge panel. That's good. Now, hopefully, they're not all like this last one. The appellate court, however, refused to halt Trump's civil trial, according to um, the Western Journal. So, um, President Trump is very much appreciates the court's considerations on the ruling, and the ruling helps pave the way for much needed and a review of the trial courts and their many errors. So this was good news for Trump today. So, he's going to end up going to on appeals. And he may, I don't want everybody to worry on this because it, it's all going to get thrown out on appeal. Because look at the judge that said Mar-a-Lago was not even a couple $1 million worth, and it's almost a museum. It's got two ports. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got an airstrip there. It's 10, 15, 20 mil easily. But this judge, oh no, it ain't worth nothing. It's only worth $1 million. The property next to it's worth $5 million, and it's a quarter of that size. So, all right. So good news for Trump. Arizona's sheriff stepped forward, and he's mad. He's mad. And he said this has been going on for a very long time, but they have squashed him speaking on this, forbid him to speak on this. And yeah, maybe everybody does know about it, but he is now stepping forward to say it's true, it's happening. Now he's watching it. And they're sending more like judges and people to work at the border openings, border patrol, to do more of this. They illegally crossed the border, and now they are being handed, get this, 5,000 cash and gift cards, along with cell phones, airplane tickets, bus tickets, train tickets, which are being paid for by who? The American taxpayer, according to Arizona's Sheriff Mark Lamb. He was absolutely shocked when agents came forward. I known we handed out free cell phones and some plane tickets, but to give them a $5,000 Visa cards to people who break our laws and come into our country illegally, when the average American is struggling to pay their bills just to be able to make it month to month. People need to know the truth and let their representative lawmakers hear about this. This needs to end. And that's according to Mr. Lamb. Now, I didn't know about the whole money thing, but $5,000. Can you imagine what you could do if our president would give you 5,000? With our income tax, while he's in office, because he's handing it out like candy at the border. Think of how many millions have crossed our border, and we're paying for it. And this is why the deficit is so high. This is why everything costs so much, folks. This is just, it's turning, everything he does is turning into a nightmare. And to hear him and to hear the media saying, "Oh, look at all the good he's done." He brought in, he brought, he brought in phone towers so everybody could have internet and better connections and better Wi-Fi. Look at how wonderful that is. And he's created jobs. I don't know. You know what? He may have created, people just went back to work after the pandemic. That's all it was. Come to find out. Yeah, Rachel Madcow, uh, you know, pull up your big girl pants and accept it. He's a liar. I know I shouldn't have said that. They're going to get me. They're going to get me, I swear, Karen. Okay, so now, we heard about that when Trump talked about this, and I tried to talk about it. I almost got taken out for it. More fraud has led to courts overturn over several new elections in 2023. At least 4 elections in the U.S. have been overturned by courts this year after voting irregularities, fraud, and outright cheating discovered, prompting new ballot in most races. 2020 and 2022 general elections, numerous lawsuits were brought challenging results of alleged irregularities. And this year, a few lawsuits have been decided on 2023 elections, which resulted in initial results being overturned. A Louisiana judge voided the results of a local sheriff's race and ordered a runoff after illegal votes were discovered. You know, if you're counting dead people, that's illegal votes. You can't count dead people. You can't count dead people twice. You can't count people twice. The decision was made by retired Louisiana Supreme Court Justice Joseph Blake. He was assigned to the case because 4 justices on the bench had recused themselves, citing conflict of interest. You got to wonder how come they did that. Democrat candidate Henry Whitehorn defeated the GOP candidate John Nicholson by 1 point in November election, leading Nicholson requesting a recount. Each candidate received 3 additional votes in the recount until resulting in Whitehorn's 1-vote victory. Nicholson filed a lawsuit challenging the results and requesting a special election, claiming that the illegal votes were casted. According to the decision, 2 people voted twice, and at least 5 absentee ballots were counted that shouldn't have been because they failed to comply with their new laws, and 4 invalid votes cast by unqualified voters, as well as, and like I said, dead people. So not only did the dead people vote once, they went back and they voted a second time. I want to see these people. And this is what Trump was talking about, folks. This is what my pillow guy was talking about. I mean, I even talked about right after the election. I mean, I hope that I'm not going to get a strike for this. If I do, folks, we'll be on Investigator News Network if I disappear next week. So that's what happens when you talk about things that Facebook and YouTube don't want you to know. So, this isn't the only one. I think I have another one in here. Okay. I just got to remember where it's at. Okay. Here we go. Another election overturned due to shenanigans. Again, and this was in Louisiana, and they said it may seem like small potatoes, and it could indicate a sorely needed trend is beginning to emerge, not just in Louisiana, but all over the United States. Namely, unfair defeated candidates are refusing accepted flawed elections. And more importantly, courageous judges are doing the right thing now when faced with clear proof that the shenanigans affected the election outcome in 2020, 2022, and this year. Unofficial results of that sheriff's race between those 2 that I was telling you about, they found 43,000 votes. That's something that hasn't happened, as far as we can tell, in more than a century in this country. Many dozen, at a minimum, a small sample ballots were able to inspect short time that they had certifies that they had no signatures at all. 43,000 votes, folks. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's got to stop. And what I remember when they were showing, the people that were going through the ballots, and they were the ones that were sent in that didn't even have creases. How did they get a whole piece of paper, a whole sheet of paper that came out of an envelope that had no crease lines that had been in the envelope? How'd that happen? Yeah, 43,000 votes. Yeah, okay. Um, White House warns Congress Ukraine aid is near depleted and urges members to pass the Biden bill and the requests that he wants. On Monday, it was warned that it will run out of money to aid Ukraine's fight against Russia if Congress does not act by the end of the year. And Biden administration asked for another 61 billion of war-torn nation. We've given them over $70 billion. Now they want 61? Is that like what, a final payment? What does Biden get out of this? Is he going to, they call him the president over there. GOP. Additionally, he wrote 50 billion. Now he upped it. The White House proposed a 106 billion aid package in October that, in addition, allocated to about 61 billion for Ukraine. It would also give Israel, 14.3 billion. Oh, and U.S. Mexico border, 14 billion, and about 10 billion for humanitarian aid. Uh, and Zelensky's been going around the world begging for money. And if you don't get it, he says he's going to lose the war. Well, shouldn't he have prepared for this? Now, I seen him go from, he was just wearing shirts and khakis, and his wife was dressed pretty nice, to expensive outfits now. How much? Why? How are they making all this money? Time to look. Time to look into not just Burisma, but look into the corruption part of Ukraine. We have been told since 2013 that Ukraine was corrupt. We were told in 2015 it got worse. 16, it was so bad. It was so bad that Trump put in an additional corruption department to fight it. And of course, Biden took it out. So did Zelensky. In 2020, we heard they're still corrupt. And just this year, they're saying it's more corrupt than ever in history. That it's so corrupt that people don't even want to go back to Ukraine, that fled because of the war. Or they would prefer to live in Russia. Huh, get that. Okay. The FBI stole millions from individuals who were not charged with the crime. The victims are suing. Now, I see this all a lot on TV, on videos of bad cops, bad FBI. The FBI raid on a private safe deposit boxes has triggered a significant legal battle over civil assets forfeiture and the lengths the federal authorities can use the practice, which has been often been referred to as policing for profit. FBI agents catalog Cartier bracelets, Rolex watches, stacks of cash, and they combined through the safety deposit boxes seized from a Beverly Hills business accused of money laundering. But the owners of many of those boxes were not accused of any crimes. And after hearing the arguments of both sides Thursday, a panel of judges from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals will decide whether the sweeping raid violated customers' Fourth Amendment rights. I think if the public sees and recognizes that this is just a total abuse, So this was on March 22nd of 2021. They seized about 1,400 safe deposit boxes from U.S. private vaults. The agents took about 86 million in cash from the boxes, as well as a trove of jewelry, gold bars, coins, silver, and other valuables. The FBI commented the administrative forfeiture proceedings against unspecified number of boxes. So they took them. Now, I've I've looked into it a little bit, and they can get all of the jewelry, and they don't know about the gold bars, the Rolex watches, a lot of the items, but they don't know where the money or the gold bars went to. Huh? Time to cough it up. Now, I'm not saying all FBI guys are bad. It's just some of these are crooked, just like the cops. The cops do the same thing when they take stuff, and it disappears. It don't end up in court, and then the people just don't get their stuff back. There are You would not believe when we defunded the police department that what it left was crooked cops. Now it up in the north, there's always been bad cops. They've always been there. They've always had them. And even here in the south, we had the bad ones. But then you had a bunch of really good cops. You got more and more that got in on the force to fight corruption, not only in their own department, but to fight crime. And when they defunded the police, the good guys left. Now we have got corrupt police departments, as well as the CCP police departments, that are so corrupt that how do we even stand a chance against the police department now? Until we start refunding these police departments, we're going to have the crime rate worse than we've ever seen it over the next year or two. The next president is going to have a big job ahead of him. Trump said he's going to be a dictator for a day or two. I think he's going to have to claim a dictator for about a week. You remember Joe Biden had a stack. Oh my God, it was like, what was it? Close to 90 things he wrote for. He took out most of everything Trump did, and he added in a whole bunch of what he wanted. Trump, or I don't know, whoever the next president is going to have to do the same thing. They're going to have to load up a stack and start taking out the frivolous spending. They're going to have to refund the police department. It's going to take 4 years to even scratch the surface of what this administration has done. Oh boy. Okay. I got to move on. Soros is taking on the fight to make sure more DAs that he wants are put in office. And he's pouring in the money to do so. How? Can he tell people how to vote? How do you get DAs in there? You vote for them, folks, and judges in your city and in your counties. So what's he going to do? And lastly, folks, are we really prepared for the hell the Democrats are going to put America through in the next year? Even Robert Kennedy Jr. said, if we allow them to keep pushing their agendas, he said the same thing. He said it's like more like a blood-curdling scenario that'll happen. Does he know something? And I wish these politicians, they say so much and then they stop short of telling you what the plan is. I think if Trump knows, if Nikki Haley, DeSantis, any of them, or even Robert Kennedy. If they know what they're going to do, they need to come out and tell us. How are we supposed to vote the right way come the election? In less than a year now, if we don't know what they're doing. And he even says it's going to be hell between now and the election. They're going to put us, they're going to drag us, they're going to censor us, they're going to everything they could possibly do to cut our rights here in the United States. That's okay, William. I've had really good shows, great shows yesterday and today, and I'm done. I'm getting ready for trivia. So, folks, here in about 15 minutes, we have trivia coming up. Subscribe and share. This is the holiday season. Share with friends and family that don't know about us. This is a great show. We speak the truth. And if you catch us, we've told you this numerous times. If I'm wrong, send me the article and I will look at it. And if I'm wrong, I'll get on here and I'll tell you I'm wrong. I'm not afraid. Yeah, we tell the truth and we just move on. Sorry about that, but at least we come forward and tell you we're wrong. Where NBC and ABC and CBS and CNN, MSNBC, Rachel Madcow, they won't come back and tell you. They just go on and act like it never happened. Well, Linda, I've Karen, about 4 times now. We've been going, I think, 6 years. And I think at least 4 times I came back and said, no, folks, I was wrong on that one. So I try to fact check lots of stuff. So anyway, that is it. And this is Friday, and I'm going to celebrate tonight. We had a good week. And, it's getting 'tis the season to be jolly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys will love the trivia tonight. Linda is going to win tonight. I don't see her in here. But Linda G, you could take her spot and swoop up on it and win. And so that's up in 15 minutes. So subscribe and hit the like button, thumbs up. The thumbs up and those hearts or whatever you smiley faces, whatever it is, it's on that list. It gives us kudos. And in fact, YouTube's the one that's pushing it. They keep sending me messages. You got to get your thumbs up happening, and you'll get more. We'll put you out there more. So wow, does YouTube like me all of a sudden? I don't know. I'm almost scared to do Mrs. Claus this year. So anyway, I want to thank you all for watching. We totally appreciate it here at the show, me and William, and our moderator, Karen and Mary. Poor Mary, I can't get her wrench, but she's been working a lot. So we'll get her fixed up once she's able to start doing shows again with us. So with that, folks, have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And if we don't see you till Monday, come on back. We're trying to do some changes to the shows and finding out what works, what don't work. So with that, folks, we will see you on Monday. But no, come on back and play some trivia. Come on back and play some trivia. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye, folks.